Let's fix up the RX-78 version 2 head Vulcans. New Type is a fast and reliable source of Gunpla supplies in the US. For my fellow Canadians, our Gamma Hobby offers the largest stock of kits, tools, and paints. So if you are watching this video, you probably already realized that the RX-78 version 2 head Vulcans are nestled a little bit too far inside the helmet to attack its opponent. And this is a design flaw from Bandai that is going to be fixed in the newer batches of the kit, but still remains in the older batches. So if you like, in this video, I'm going to share some options that you can consider, but you can also skip right to this timestamp to see how I did it in the easiest and fastest way possible with as few tools as possible. Different people might have different ways that work for them. It depends really on how much time you're willing to spend on it, but this is what worked for me, and I hope that it can give you some ideas. To check if yours is the older batch that has the problem, you can check your runners. Even though I cut off most of this gate here, I can tell this is from the older batch, and I can confirm that mine does have the problem. To be absolutely honest, this really doesn't bother me that much, but for educational purposes, okay, I decided that I'll see what I should do. I wanna fix this as easily as possible. At first, my immediate idea was use an art knife and kind of get rid of this white part here and just hollow it out so that the Vulcan will show more. But I feel like the Vulcans are still gonna be a little bit too much inside. It might not look like it's sticking out enough. So then I took a look at the inside of it. I saw a guy, he cut this part out in like a bigger chunk, which is a better idea than cutting this little part out. And then he used blue tack to like extend this out, and then he just like put it back in. Now for me, the problem is I also don't have any putty of any kind, and I don't really want to buy some now because I really need to paint. I thought maybe I could cut this out and then somehow build up some more structure with flat plate and cement and then stick this Vulcan back in. But the thing is, this Vulcan is just so crazy tiny. Honestly, it just seemed like way too much work. So my last thought was I could just cut out the Vulcan and then fill up the space and then stick the Vulcan onto here. But I just didn't feel like it was gonna cut out very clean. So I was wondering if I had any little sort of accessory part that I could stick here to make it look like a Vulcan. And as I was just sifting through my drawer, I found this. The moment I saw this, I was like, okay, this is the answer. Now, this is way too big for the RG, but I just want to show you. But normally these are like metal detail parts that kind of add some extra details or make things look more realistic instead of using plastic. I have even smaller ones. I felt like this would be the perfect size, and it looks like the shape of the Vulcan. And there's two different ends. There's an end that's a little rounder, and then there's an end that's a little more hollowed out. I feel like this rounded end looks more like the Vulcan. So I tried to see how it would fit here. And look, can it fit more perfectly than this? I'm gonna cut out the Vulcan from the frame, and then when I get to final assembly, I'm gonna use this bead part. It does have a slight gap here. I don't have any red putty right now, so it's gonna be maybe a little annoying to fill in. So I have a new super glue here that I haven't tried yet. I can see though that it looks very liquidy, which is not really ideal for where you're trying to fill in gaps, but this is all I have. If the glue really is too liquidy, what I could do is leave it out for a little bit until it gets kind of gooey. Oh darn, I just realized we don't even have toothpicks. God. And hopefully, as you can see here, this is gonna harden and kind of fill in the gap on the Vulcan for me. I am expecting that I'll have to do this in layers, and I'm gonna have to build the layers up over time. I'm gonna do it from the inside. A little of the red putty from the end of this is going on there, but that's fine. And I can see it's actually gone on like quite smoothly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna keep doing several layers of this. I'm gonna let it dry like this, and I don't want the glue to kind of build up at the bottom. I want it to build up more here, so I'm gonna let gravity do the work. Normally I would just do this with putty. I expect I might have to do this, I don't know, like 5 or 6 times at least. Also, normally If you have some kind of accelerator to make the glue dry faster, you wouldn't even have to wait in between. But again, also, I don't have any accelerator. And even though I don't have plans to really use the Vulcans, I'm gonna try to make the cut like reasonably nice. There we go. If you don't have the beads, what I would do is just like cut this out and round it off and stick it on the top. So I kind of tried to measure this, the Vulcan size that I'm gonna use, and it kind of looks like it's 1.1, which is really strange because it looks a lot bigger than this, but this says 1.1. I bought this off of LP Decal, which is a Korean decal site. To be honest, I think this size is fine. I think this is really close to the actual RG Vulcan size. So if this is all you can find, that's okay. But I think the safest range would be like a 1.1 to 1.3-ish. I just prefer the bigger one. I actually have these smaller ones, but I think the bigger one looks better. So up to you. I've got a package from my sponsor, Argama Hobby, my go-to site for all of my kits, tools, and paints. Let's check out what's inside. Got some glue, got a little detail paintbrush for doing enamel hand paintings. I got literally the smallest one available. So I got this thinner, which is the Brushmaster. This is a self-leveling thinner with retarder to prevent uneven finishes such as orange peel. For use with Gaia color lacquer paint, do not mix with other incompatible paints. I'm just gonna be mixing it with other paints. I've always mixed different like brand thinners with different paints and I've never had a problem. And yeah, it's supposed to give a smooth finish. And a mark fit. I didn't actually want the strong one, but this is all they had on the site. Also got a bottle of the Gaia flat. This is actually Cookie's favorite flat top coat. My favorite is the IPP because it gives a really dull flat finish. This one gives a kind of softer matte finish, but it has like a more natural look. These kind of paints, they're really hard to find really, but Argama, they really have usually a good stock of Gaia notes. Glad I could get my hand on this. Just your good old extra thin cement. Don't really remember what I ordered. I thought that these colors looked like what I might want to paint my RX-78 with. No, looking at this now, I feel like I might still have to do a little bit of mixing. I also got some whites, one pure white and one ultimate white. They didn't have the big bottle of just like your regular gloss black, but any gloss black is fine just to layer underneath metallics. The only kind of downside is that the bottle is a little smaller, so you're paying a little bit more. So here is my haul this time around, and thank you again, Argama Hobby, for sending it over to me. Amazing. A lot of resin builders, they buy the needle heads, so you don't even need to. It would be great though if the instructions were in English as well. This looks, oh my goodness, this rubbery feel is amazing. It's got a super fine tip. Perfect for enamel painting. Love it. Love it. So I hope that was helpful for you and you enjoyed the video. If I don't have another upload before the holidays, I want to say happy holidays and happy New Year's. Bye-bye. 여기 있네.
순대, 모듬 순대, 순댓국에는.
In Korean restaurants, you have to take off your shoes. 와우, 맛있겠다. 근데 내장도 있었네. 되게 행복해 보인다, 오빠. 되게 행복해 보인다. 되게 조금밖에 안 넣었네.
어때?
이거 막 아주 맛있는 거 아닌 것 같은데.
How about you?
It's just
okay.
I'd like to thank my Patreon supporters who allow me to build, paint, and produce videos while not having to worry about making a living at the same time. Patreon is a way for anyone to support their favorite creator and content. You can also join us on Discord to chat with me and fellow Gunpla hobbyists. Check it out at patreon.com/frostsnow. Thanks for watching.